I never thought I'd be writing this, but here I am at 27, having just called off my wedding to my college sweetheart of 6 years. All because he went behind my back to contact my estranged father, someone I'd cut ties with for very good reasons. Growing up, I was the youngest of 4 kids, and my family did their best to shield me from the reality of who my father really was. On the surface, he was just the dad who wasn't around much, missed birthdays, broken promises, the usual story. But there was so much more beneath that surface that I wouldn't learn until much later. The memories I do have of him are a mix of chaos and disappointment. He'd promise to take me out on weekends, then never show up. When he did show up, it was always an adventure, but not the good kind. He'd drive like a maniac with me in the car, pick fights with random people, and constantly badmouth my mom. Looking back, I can't believe how normalized this all seemed to me at the time. 2 incidents stand out that should have been major red flags. When I was 13, a boy my age just said hi to me at the park. My father completely lost it. He tackled this poor kid and started hitting him. I can still remember standing there, frozen in horror, before he dragged me to the car while I was crying. The second incident was on my 14th birthday when he abandoned me at a shopping center 3 towns over. I had to call my friend Lena, whose older brother thankfully came to pick me up. That was the last time I saw him in person. The weirdest part of our visits was how they always ended. He'd make me wait in the car for hours while he visited friends. I'd sit there for 4 to 5 hours just listening to music, while our actual time together was maybe 2 to 3 hours tops. My mom thought we were spending quality time together all day. I still kept in touch with him over the phone occasionally. He'd tell me these sad stories about how everyone in the family hated him, and I felt sorry for him. Then came my mom's divorce. He refused to sign the papers until I stepped in and pleaded with him. He finally agreed, and I thought maybe this meant he really did care about me. But nothing changed. He remained distant, had another kid with someone else, and only reached out when he needed favors. The final straw came when he asked me to forge my mom's signature on some documents. When I refused, he called me stupid just like your mother. That's when my family finally told me everything. The physical abuse my mom and siblings endured, his drug addiction, and how all those times he made me wait in the car, he was actually buying drugs or meeting up with various women. His new girlfriend even messaged me to tell me he only borrowed his sister's car under the pretense of spending time with me, just so he could drive to his dealer's house. This was all 7 years ago, and I've had 0 contact with him since. When I started dating Ryan in college, I told him everything. He seemed so understanding and supportive, helping me work through my people-pleasing tendencies and teaching me it was okay to set boundaries. Our relationship was great. He got along with my family, supported my decisions, and really seemed to get why I didn't want anything to do with my father. When we got engaged and started planning our wedding, Ryan brought up my father. I made it crystal clear that I didn't want him there. He hadn't been part of my life for 7 years, and I definitely wasn't ready to reconcile, especially not at my wedding. Then came the day that changed everything. I came home to find my father sitting in my living room, invited by Ryan to bury the hatchet. I couldn't believe my eyes. My father was talking about how glad he was that I had come to my senses and started making suggestions about having my half-brother as the ring bearer. The anger and betrayal I felt was overwhelming. I asked my father to leave and told him not to contact me again. Instead of apologizing, Ryan was furious with me. He thought enough time had passed, and that I should work on forgiving my father. But why should I forgive someone who never apologized? Someone who cut ties with me, not the other way around? My phone number hadn't changed in 7 years. If my father wanted to make amends, he knew how to reach me. When I pressed Ryan about it, I discovered he'd been in secret contact with my father for 6 months. 6 whole months of lying to my face. I was devastated. The man I trusted most had gone behind my back to force a relationship I explicitly said I didn't want. I told Ryan we needed to postpone the wedding and work on rebuilding trust and communication before getting married. His response? Either we get married now, or we break up. The ultimatum made my decision clear. I ended our engagement. The aftermath has been brutal. Ryan's family has been harassing me nonstop, calling me names and accusing me of breaking their precious son's heart. They're using different phone numbers and making fake social media accounts just to tell me how horrible I am. According to them, I'm overreacting and being stubborn. At first, their words started getting to me. Maybe I was being too harsh. Maybe I should have given my father another chance. But deep down, I knew this wasn't just about my father anymore. This was about Ryan completely disregarding my feelings and boundaries, lying to me for months, and then trying to force me into marriage when I wanted to work things out properly. It's been about a month since the breakup, and Ryan still hasn't moved his things out of our apartment. I've sent him emails, texts, and even a formal letter giving him 30 days to collect his belongings. He finally responded yesterday, asking if we could talk alone when he comes to pick up his stuff. Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet him at a public cafe, with my brother waiting outside just in case. At the cafe, Ryan tried to explain himself. He said he got caught up in trying to make my childhood dream come true, referring to something I told him years ago about hoping to rebuild my relationship with my father to the point where he could walk me down the aisle. But that was before I knew the full truth about his abuse, before he blocked me, before I understood how manipulative he'd been throughout my life. The whole point was that I wanted to work on our relationship first, not have him show up out of nowhere at my wedding. Ryan admitted that when he saw my reaction to my father's surprise visit, he knew he'd messed up. But instead of apologizing, he doubled down with that ultimatum, thinking I'd never actually break off the engagement. He even confessed to lying to his family about the situation because he didn't want them to hate him. Now he was asking for another chance, suggesting couples therapy to work things out. But sitting there listening to him, everything became clearer. This wasn't about helping me. This was about his need to be the hero, to fix me and my family. Looking back at our relationship, I started seeing other signs I'd missed. How he always pushed me to open up about my trauma, even when I wasn't comfortable. How he'd tell me I needed to get out of my shell because I preferred focusing on my studies instead of partying. He wasn't supporting me. He was trying to mold me into his idea of who I should be. I told him no. No to couples therapy, no to starting over, no to everything. His actions showed exactly who he was. Someone who would go behind my back for 6 months, contact my abuser, lie to his family, and then try to manipulate me with ultimatums instead of owning up to his mistakes. He's supposed to pick up his things tomorrow. My brother and uncle will be there, both big guys who Ryan's always been intimidated by, while I stay somewhere else. I'm planning to move in with my sister for a while, even though it'll add an hour to my work commute. I'm changing my number too, and the only person who'll know where I'm staying is my childhood friend Lena, who's stuck by me for 20 years. Right now, I'm focusing on healing. I'm going back to therapy, not because I doubt my decision, but because I want to process everything that's happened. I need to understand why I missed the signs of manipulation in our relationship, and how to better protect myself in the future without completely shutting people out. It's funny. Ryan's family thinks I ruined everything by not forgiving my father, but this was never really about forgiveness. It was about respect, trust, and having the right to choose who gets to be part of my life. Sometimes the hardest part isn't standing up to the people who hurt you, but standing firm when everyone else tells you you're wrong for protecting yourself. For now, I'm choosing to stay single and focus on myself. Maybe I'll get better at recognizing red flags, or maybe I'll learn to trust my instincts more. Either way, I know I made the right choice. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away from someone you love when they show you they don't really love you back. At least not in the way you deserve to be loved. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that subscribe button to help us reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with friends or family who might enjoy it too. Your support means a lot. And if you have any thoughts, questions, or story ideas, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next story.